Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be a endgame lesson which might actually stretch into a series. We will see how we go. The idea is to give you a short and sharp lesson, something to take away, but not really spending too much time with one particular video. So without further ado, let's jump into opposition. Opposition is the key idea of a lot of pawn endings. The reason why this theory is very handy to actually master is because it's both an attacking and a defensive method. So it doesn't matter whether you are defending certain endgames or you are trying to win. The goal is the same, and that is to accomplish opposition. Opposition is when the kings are facing each other and they are standing on the same color squares, unlike right now. So this position is actually a white to move and win scenario, but because I like to go interactive and I also want you to enjoy the challenge, I want you to try to set it up against your computer and see if you can win it. And try it out a number of times, because I reckon if you do it, you might actually be successful in actually converting this into a win. Now I'm going to show you how it is done. The most common mistake in this position that players tend to make is to push the pawn by either one or two squares. Both of them are terrible mistakes. The idea is to bring the king forward first. Note that I am doing opposition with black as a tool of defense, putting the king on the same colored square, so that when white approaches, I oppose. White approaches, I oppose. The problem for black as the defender now is the fact that white has got a spare move to make, which means that now the king has to give up opposition and go to the side. Now, whenever we talk about opposition, it sounds like a big mystery, like, oh my god, this is the holy grail, the magic word. But what's the point? The point of the opposition is always that you want to control a particular square. So in this case, for example, our ultimate goal is, as white, to control with our king this square. And the reason for that is because that is the square where the pawn is going to promote. If we cannot support this pawn by a king attacking this square either from here or from here, we are not going to win. So let's see how we accomplish this. The king goes to the side, we go forward. The king goes back, we oppose again. And once again, the idea is to usher the king away so that our pawn can roll. If the king goes up, then you are free to move the pawn. If the king goes here, you are free to move the pawn. And when the king goes back, you are free to... Nah, I'm joking. Opposition. Pawn up is a terrible mistake here, because if I do that, then after king f8, up here, and now our only move is king e6, which is going to result in a stalemate. Instead, we grab the opposition, and by doing this, now we actually get to the core of what this magical opposition thingy mabobby is exactly about, and that is that finally we got the control of the square where the pawn wants to promote, and incidentally we are also covering every other square with the king where the pawn will move in the next three moves, and so we can just nurse the pawn all the way home to e8 and get a new queen. Now I'm going to show you quickly what would happen if we started off with a pawn move. In that case, black just defends, defends, defends. And when I come up, not here, nay, opposition right here, pawn up, king here, and for many, this is already crystal clear that this is going to be a draw, but I'm going to play it out for you. King back here, very important, so that we can face again the king and oppose. And we are going to rinse and repeat all the way to the bottom of the board, where finally black saves the day again by the same opposition idea. If you feel that you are not quite comfortable still to pull this off, I recommend you keep on practicing it against the engine on highest level, by the way, because it's totally winning, and so it doesn't matter how strong the engine is. And make sure that you do master this concept of opposition, both as a defender and as an attacker. And on that note, I'm going to call this video off right away, and we will continue with a similar idea in the next one. Thanks for watching.